I'm a Moor, some call me Saracen, some Muslim. Europe had some dark age issues, I solved them. Using Moorish science, I'm stating the obvious. Rapper drone stepped up from Kush to Mali blunts. Unawakened, unconscious, unaware Moors won't accept the fact, plus you looked up black or more. Moors the custodian of Kemetic Nubians, carrying the marvelous light, the path Negroes to Nubians, saying I'm a Moor, not colored or black. I'm a Moor, Seti or Enki, they can't change that, cause I know their hands don't extend past Allah's wisdom. I'm a Moor, no doubt a contradiction. Return to my own vine and fig tree. Nationality a mind frame if you're with me. Reclaim your ancestral mind and shout.
I'm a Moor. Red fairs, black ties, elders of my class, not black or Indians. I repeat, I'm a Moor. Indigenous to the farthest west. Say we were great, still they say we the best. Hear what I say, I'm a Moor. Yes, it's true, if not for true, I leave. Most of y'all would have still been asleep. Now you could tell them I'm more than you could ever wish you thought you would be. 3 centuries deep in Moorish science, I read, study, I'm a Moor.
Rope on a peg, stuck in the shore. Oceanographic device anchored to sea floors. I'm a Moor. Goldfish of China and Japan. Veil-tail variety, brushing the cold water plants. I'm a Moor. Stretches of lands, jungles or where sand blows. Reptilian species and amphibians' homes. I'm a Moor. Defending Drew Ali, that's my mission. To put securely in place or desired position. I'm a Moor. Ancestral mindset, not thinking like the hybrids. Can't hide from a 10, so they mess with the climate. Mess with the mind, mess with the foods, get violent about more subjugation. Your black leaders are quiet, signed on to King Alfred, but they want you to riot. Pushing dogma as religion and want you to buy it. Most never do it, but they want you to try it. Too many have knowledge of self on the shelves and won't apply it.
I'm a Moor. Red fairs, black ties, elders of my class, not black or Indians. I repeat, I'm a Moor. Indigenous to the farthest west. Say we were great, and still they say we the best. Hear what I say, I'm a Moor. Yes, it's true, if not for Drew Ali. Most of y'all would have still been asleep. Now you could tell them I'm more than you could ever wish you thought you would be. 3 centuries deep in Moorish science, I read, study, I'm a Moor.
Dreamy and drooling, falling for the fooling. Mental slaves sell out or get bought out for cooning. Being your example to follow with no strain. Meant means mind, so govern and entertain is more than you imagine. Carbon is melanin, Quran and Bible angels are cherubim and seraphim. Riding on the light angles, traveling at warp speed. We created crossbreeds, now we can't walk free. The mind is the plantation, everything is mental. Even filling your brother with lead like a pencil. Mercenaries with chalk, use bodies as a stencil. If rival gangs won't stop you, barbed wire fence will. It could take more, but it might take less. Cursing your God on Job's cash in the fake checks. Spending fake monopoly money, counterfeit at best. When you see something is wrong, you need to counter it best as you can. You don't need a magic wand or to clip your heels twice to escape dreamland. Just use your mind. If you can't relate, you're living in an illusion, slave to the dream state. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by their shoulders, waking from their dream state. Invasion. Drew Ali, my water when the fire starts blazing. Running with no holy buckets, the Caucasian. While Asiatics daydreaming, mental stargazing. Not paying attention, but paying taxes and fines. Nas said the world is yours, he really meant mine. If I ruled the world, you wouldn't want to be black. You wouldn't want to be a deadbeat dad or be whacked for sure. You wouldn't want to be the dirty moral leader, convicted and facing my firing squad either. You won't be put in a box, forget the cedar, taking tires off cars at unexpired meters. If I ruled the world, dirty Moors would hate it. Find them with their wrists slit in bathrooms naked. Find them holding scimitar handles slumped over with suicide notes to Jehovah. If you just heard about Juali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Juali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by their shoulders, waking from their dream state. Dream a little dream, wake up from the nightmare. Dream a big dream, live your life in fright, scared to change. When everything that grows must do such or stay stagnant, living your life as a pageant, made up faces with eyeliner and makeup, created by the same ones you call racist. Wake up, allow them their dignity and exercise patience. Don't shock them too hard with electrifying statements. Everything cloudy, mind acting rowdy, hypnotized by Pied Piper, signing rap on godlies. Having so much influence, youths won't pull their pants up, looking like a jailbird, begging for some handcuffs. In a dream state, getting grands up for freedom. Fiat is a slave to banks, you better see them. No different than the people are slaves to brand names. Move from dream to reality, change the landscape. He started from the top, don't listen to your man Drake. Only till clan hates and Masonic handshakes don't work. Moors are back, do your homework and assignments. Realize Moorish is the science. You just heard about Juali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Juali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your east state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see.
Shake them by their shoulders, wake them from the dream state. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Q&A. You can go on YouTube. Pardon the interjection. Ask a Grand Sheikh. So it's not just some stuff we just started doing or whatever. We realize that there's people out here playing our people. So either we're just going to do like Drew Ali and just put everything out, or shut the hell up. Right? Islam to all the Moors worldwide. If you got questions, right? People's telling you stay out there, DM and all that stuff. This is your opportunity to ask your questions relative to Moors. We just ask, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat in all caps. That way, you don't have to be searching for stuff, for new people. That's the etiquette over here, right? That's the etiquette over here. Put your questions in the chat in all caps. So anytime you're here, that's the rule. That's just what it is. So if you got any, just put them in the chat in all caps. And because if you're in people's DM, they obviously have questions. So this is really the opportunity. You want to know something about Moors? Forget all those people out there telling you something. Ask me, let me tell you. See what my answer is. Because you listen to all these clowns or whatever telling you, they're black and we're stardust people, and I mean, black means everything else except what a dictionary says it means. People send me their stuff in my DM all the time. Never send me more stuff. They always send me some BS that I don't care about anything black consciousness and all that BS. It's doing nothing for our people. I came from all that. Been around. Right? Been around. Like I put my stamp down. Come to the Moorish paradigm. Like Canaanland Moors been repping for some Moorish paradigm. Right. Right. So the problem that we have is that our people don't like to go the full length. They only want to do things that are convenient at the time for their whatever. Every other time, everybody could run amok. So the issue is that from the past, people have been playing this game with what Noble Drew Ali brought. They're playing this game as if they brought you something. None of these people in America today that call themselves whatever they call themselves have an origin before Noble Drew Ali. As far as the Americas, North America and the islands specifically. Anybody that called themselves a leader of anything, trace them back, see how far back they go, and they'll probably go back to the 1900s. Right, early 1900s. And then by 1930, there was, you don't know how many things that you could join to get yourself out of slavery. So that was a game. Because really, what all those people were supposed to be doing, where they were supposed to stick to Noble Drew Ali's program, they were supposed to stick to Marcus Garvey's program, they weren't supposed to go into some NAACP and all that stuff, they weren't supposed to go into NOI and all that, they weren't supposed to go into Hebrew Israelites, because the Hebrew Israelites we know come from the Zionist Jews who called themselves Moorish Jews, and they were in Harlem. So don't tell me any BS about whatever you think a Hebrew Israelite is, when as Moors, our history as Moors tells us that the real Jews are the Moorish Jews of Harlem. They have the sign outside said Moorish on it and everything. Probably 6 of them in there. Because these people don't want their birthright. These people want to play games like they know themselves. They don't know themselves, for real. Right? So there's track record and all that. And we know that from 1930 to where we are today, everybody sold out. Everybody sold out. Because nobody told you about Noble Drew Ali. Nobody told you that you're a Moor. That should be a problem to you. That should be a problem, that you've been to all these lectures or whatever, and they told you about everything from gold water to have your own plates to claim a house to exercise rights and walk around with real stuff, not play stuff, real stuff that military have. You have that at your house. But then when you check, you see, hold on a second, all these people got all this stuff that they brought for us or whatever. How come none of them are talking about Noble Drew Ali? How come all of them are saying they love their people and all that stuff, but they're not repping the guy who said learn to love instead of hate, and told Moors that their first principle is love, and everything you should do it out of love? Noble Drew Ali told Moors this in the 1920s. How are you telling people hate people still today? Obviously they got off of what he was talking about. Because if he's talking about love, the first principle, and you need to learn to love instead of hate and all this, then obviously he was on something. Because nobody could say they don't want love. Nobody could say that they don't want to receive love. No one could say they don't want that. Nobody could bring up anything to debate that love is something that everybody wants. Nobody else told you that. No one. When we check the record, 1930 to where we are today, no one told you, hey, just love your brother. Just love your sister. Stop looking at her like an object and all that stuff. Stop looking at him like he owes you something because you're some woman or whatever. And just love. Why you do that? That'll automatically change the frequency. If everybody's exuding from themselves love, what do you think everybody's gonna get? But nah, they want to exude no peace, no justice. And then when they get no peace and no justice that they've been screaming down the place for, then they're mad. And then when the Moors say, hey, you guys probably going through that because you don't have a nationality. They want to debate Moors about is Allah a real God and Muslims and all this madness. So we know all these people. And remember, this is going back to people robbing you and stuff like that. Right? It's people stealing from you. And I see your question about the existence. We'll get to you. So the game has evolved to the point where people could rob you now. Because they don't even bring up Noble Drew Ali. They don't bring up what he taught. They don't bring up any of the literature. They don't quote him. And if they do quote him, they're not quoting him from some perspective like they're part of what the Moorish paradigm is about. Right? It's their thing that, no, none of that. Noble Drew Ali has to get his honors. People could do whatever they want. We're just letting you know, as Moors, we work for Noble Drew Ali, and that's how you know who the true ones are, so you don't get robbed. Because Noble Drew Ali told Moors, there's traitors in this movement. So you better study what I left you so you could know, like I know, that there's traitors around here. I'm probably not going to be around here too much longer. So here's all the info. Think and save yourselves. Gave Moors ample amounts of prophecies or whatever, that 90% of them came true by the time 2020. Prophecies that Noble Drew Ali said in 1920 stuff happened. From stock market crashing to there being a European vice president and an Asiatic president. Noble Drew Ali talked there's going to be animals roaming the streets and stuff like that because places are going to be deserted. Noble Drew Ali talked about this stuff in the 1920s. We just had real life lockdown, 2020. We had real life martial law, that stuff that we read about in the magazines. Nah, they're never going to do this or whatever. Oh yeah? They locked everybody down. They locked themselves down. Right? All the stuff you've been reading about, Behold the Pale Horse and all that stuff, concentration camps and all that stuff happened already. Like, there's not something coming. New World Order is coming. No, like, New World Order came, bruised over, and they're on their next mission. New World Order is back there. Your world order is knowing the truth about your nationality and birthrights. If you are really about freeing yourself and, talking like that, you better know about your nationality and your birthrights. Because if you don't, people are going to rob you. Because this is crazy. It's not supposed to be like this. It wasn't like this. It became like this. So you look at it like by the time you got to the park, the merry-go-round was freaking going fast and everybody's just holding on for dear life on the merry-go-round. And then you're trying to jump on while the thing's going 200 miles an hour. It's not going to come out in your favor. Right? That's the effect of the people robbing you. When really what's supposed to be, you're supposed to just come around, wait by the side. Everybody has their turn or whatever. And then Everybody gets off, then you go on, and now you have your turn. You can go on as long as you want. Not somebody selling you this idea that, oh yeah, if you do it this way, you're going to get this outcome. That's 1,500. If you do it this way, you're going to get this outcome. That's 3,000. But if you do it this way, the platinum way, and then we give you the card with the barcode and the paper with the seal and the ribbons, and then it's going to have the thing on the top, and it's going to look like the paper is going to feel like nothing you've ever felt before. And you think that you just got your nationality because some guy gave you something with Negro pictures in there, and you're like, yeah, this is Moorish or whatever like that, and you're playing around as if they just gave you something. But you didn't even study enough to know yet that nationality can't be bought or sold because it's an inalienable right. And anybody who's engaging in selling rights and all that stuff, they're worse than the people talk about colonists that you're talking about that's abusing you. They're worse than them. Like you're looking at New World Order like, you let Negroes take over something, see what happens. You worry about some Europeans. When the Europeans are our lower self. But that's in a body. Like how low is our lower self? Okay, we can match it up there, European go nuts, kill his family, Asiatic go nuts, kill his family, Chinese guy go nuts, kill his family. Certain things we could measure up. But then when you look at things like shot by police, it's a big discrepancy. I mean, single mothers, big difference between other people in the world. Because they're coming from the perspective of nationality. They're recognizing from the womb that their existence is about their nation's representation. So they only eat at their spots, they only spend money with people who look like them, and nobody looks at them and says that that's racist. Or they don't pull any race card on them. Why they do that with us? How come we can't start doing something until somebody says, these Negroes trying to be the Black Panthers and take over stuff, we gotta watch them. Can't do it because you don't have nationality. It's that simple. And again, Noble Drew Ali is the one who brought that. And are these people implementing that? No. So if you go against the prophet, okay, so if you go back in scriptures, and then a prophet came and then told some people something and they didn't do what the prophet said, what happened to those people in the scriptures? What happened to them? When those people said, not listening to him, billing a boat or whatever, he's billing a boat. This guy, billing a boat. Let's go over here and just go shoot some deer or something. Boat builder guy's like, well, all right, let's build this boat. A couple other guys see, hey man, what are you doing over here? This is about connecting yourself to your history for real. So like with the question about the existence. What is the Moors? When's the existence of the Moors? If a Moor is any dark-skinned person, what do you mean? When they say the black guys, nobody ever brought, when did the black guys start? Nobody ever asked that question. You just went with it. Oh yeah, we're black guys. Yeah, we're African. Yeah, we're ancient. We're the original man and all, whatever. You name it. Everything under the sun. We're the origin of that. Soon as it comes to Moors, now people got questions that they would never ask a Chinese or a Hindustani. They ask them, hey, so when's the existence of the Hindustani people? You just recognize them for, all right. The same way that we recognize them, that's how they recognize us if we say that we're Moors. It's a thing that's across the board. That you talk to anybody about our people, and they know that our people are the original people. They're not going to argue it. They have statues that look like us that they worship. And those entities, beings, whatever, would be called whatever name, whatever they decide to call them. Now, if these beings that these people prayed to that didn't look like them, that looked like certain people in North America and the islands, if they're praying to them and worshiping them, and they look like a quote-unquote dark-skinned person, guess what? They're a Moor. I don't care where you go in history. If you find a dark-skinned person, that's a Moor. We definitely know it wouldn't be African, because the word Africa wouldn't even exist in ancient times. Where the Moor exists down to letters, down to hieroglyphs, Moor exists. As far as a people, there being a people in every time frame, every century, every whatever, there's some reference of Moors there. Throughout history throughout the world, there's always some type of reference to the Moors in some way, shape, or form, in some type of synonym idea. Because the point is to give you so much stuff that you don't even consider Moor being you. You get everything else is you, but Moor, that's not you. And then if it is you, it's only you from 711 to 1492, as if there were no Moors before that and after that, period. So it's deliberate why they don't want you to know about this information, that we are Moors, that we're not Negro black colored. And yes, our existence is billions of years. We've been here. Because those of us who are on game know that we're not the body. So we've been here. And remember, this is a Moor talking to you. This is not a black guy or a whatever. This is a Moor talking to you like this. So if a Moor is going to talk to you like this, and then other people have this same information about metaphysics and stuff like that, but they're not Moors, they're African, black, whatever, isn't that an apparent contradiction? Because why wouldn't they have the same nationality as me? They look just like me. They're talking just like how I talk. Right? Why? And this is not some sides thing or whatever. Right? When we say we're Moors, don't connect this to some temple, don't connect this to some organization, don't connect this to some group of some whatever, don't connect this to, it's none of that. When we say that we're Moors, that's because of nationality. Chinese is a nationality. All their little groups and organizations and all that stuff have nothing to do with anybody else but them. Nobody else care. Because that's their stuff that you don't have any authority in. So we have to get back to the mindset of that, realizing that we are the authority. If we're original man, if everybody knows we're original man and they're worshiping us or whatever, what you mean nigger? Who you talking to? And it's not beat your ass or nothing like that. It's, no, I'm not. Oh, you thought I was like the chimpanzee stuff that you guys used to talk about? No, I'm a Moor. And you already know who the Moors are. I don't care who you are. I know you know who the Moors are. Especially when you see Moors with turbans and fezzes and stuff like that. You know who the Moors are. And all that racist stuff immediately goes out the window. And you start telling us about, oh yeah, we know America is Morocco and all this stuff. And oh yeah, we know about fezzes. And my granddad, let go in the wallet, pull out the picture of the granddad has a fez on and all this stuff like that. Hold on a second. Well, you saw me yesterday. How come you didn't tell me any of this stuff when I was a black guy? How come all these years I know you come into this store or whatever like that? All of a sudden now, I'm fezzed up and you know stuff now? Like you know stuff to the point where I can go in your store and because of what I told you that I know, I can go take anything off the shelf? Because I know that I'm a Moor? And everything that you have in your quote unquote Indian, Pakistani, whatever, grocery store is the same stuff I can get in the grocery store where these people are going to hassle me about taxes and all this stuff. They can't accept the card and all that. But then these Arabs or these Chinese or these Pakistanis or whatever, they're seeing our nationality card. Where you been? You're back? Oh, you're back? You can take whatever you want. You just take whatever you want. Anytime, you just go, you just take whatever you want and you just leave. You don't worry. You're good. Everybody's waiting for us, but we want to sleep. We want to play vote for somebody. We want to play vote. That's what we want to do. So we've been here. You know, when was the existence of Moors? We've been here. We've traversed this whole planet. As Moors. Yeah, we know we did it as under other names and all that. But the last recognized name of our people before we fell into servitude, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical servitude. We were known as Moors, and everybody knows this. We're the only ones who don't know. That's why we're the ones getting the most judgment. Because nationality is the order of the day, not how big is your sign asking for rights, asking some European to give you rights. When he's gonna give you the right, but then you can't really exercise it as a right because you have the right under his name and you're not a European. And then you think because, oh yeah, my Facebook page says Shaka Zulu, then that means I'm Shaka Zulu. No, it doesn't. Stop playing games. You haven't declared that you're Shaka Zulu for the record. You got a European name. Go check all these guys' accounts, whatever name they call themselves in the public or whatever, and see if that name matches what's on the books for their life. Check the contracts. See if they sign those. So you just put yourself in the jurisdiction because you're doing contracts in a name that's not your own with people who you know are colonials. You know the white man is the devil and all that. Okay, so you know this guy's the devil. You doing contracts with him. So you're just blatantly disrespecting the ancestors because you know who the devil is, and then opposed to work with your ancestors, you're working with the devil. Comfortably, like that was the thing to do. Right? This is about having a personal relationship with your nationality. This is not about some guy told you, hey, you're a Moor. And then now you're chasing behind this guy like some tail on a dog because he told you that you're a Moor. And because he told you that you're a Moor, then you're gonna sniff his ass. That's not what nationality is about. Like John Henry Clark said, nationality is about realizing that you belong to something in the world. You're not some nigger. All that metaphysics and stuff we got, all these rituals and stuff that we're doing, Europeans still in power? The amount of these people that came out and said, oh yeah, we're going to go do some moon ritual or whatever like that. Is the Europeans still putting people in concentration camps? Then something's wrong here. Because obviously this stuff's not working. Obviously this stuff's not working if nothing's happening. Where's Shango and all that stuff with the lightning bolts and all that? Where are they? Because the people have disconnected from it by not tying themselves by nationality. Like, you know the science. Right? You have to know the science. It's not just, you have this information, or you have this card, or you have these papers, or you have this travel document. So now I'm a Moor. Once that's the concept, they're going to enslave you forever. Because you're going to keep thinking that it's not something that is yours. You think somebody made you a Moor. Nobody can make you a Moor other than your mom. No one but your mom. That's the perspective it has to be. Yes, things come with saying nationality. Things do come with it. But what you get is based on where your knowledge is at. Nothing before its time. When the student is ready, the master will appear. All these things are part of the puzzle pieces. So we can realize what it is that we as the individual is supposed to do with regard to this vastness that we have right now called Moorish science. This wealth of knowledge that we've embarked on. That we know who we are, and we know that we're Moors, we're not Negro, black, colored. And we know it's probably 6 of us. Because nobody's trying to get out of the zombie pit. Everybody's putting their neck up, putting their arm up. Everybody wants to get bit. Juali said there's only going to be a handful saved with fingers left over. So we aren't looking for some mass whatever. We know that there's the people who are the ancients return. The real ones, the real ancients return, they have a nationality. They're not playing around that it doesn't matter what you call me. I'm an original man. I'm the supreme being and all that stuff. But it doesn't matter what you call me. What do you mean? Since when? You find me in scriptures where they said, oh yeah, call whoever by some other name and see what happened. This is why it's about knowing this. And you have to want to know this. If you don't want to know this, then this is not going to work, because this is not a thing where you're going to go to the place, pick up the thing, and then you plug it in, and now you're a Moor because you got the joystick in your hand. It doesn't work like that. This is real deal. This is real deal like Tyson apologizing to Evander Holyfield. This is humility like that. This is not the rah-rah and the most popular thing or whatever. This is the stuff that's in the cut that nobody knows about. This is that secret spot where you go to that nobody knows about. And you have the whole beach to yourself because you found the secret spot. Nobody bothering you. No noise, just you and self. Because they want to keep you in this look at the Moorish thing as a religion. No, this is science. Or they say Allah and they say Islam and they say Muslim, so that means it's religious. No, it doesn't. It does not mean we're religious at all. Unless you're talking about the etymology and all that stuff, then, we might be able to have a conversation. But other than that, this is not how you look at church and all that stuff when you look at Moors. Don't you dare. Even if you went to a Moor science temple and you seen them dancing around and Noble Ali and clapping just like it's church and all that stuff, that's BS. Because that's definitely not what this is. So, going back to the beginning, the merry-go-round's going 100. You're not going to just try to jump on it. You're going to wait for it to slow down. And you're looking at its information. It's information, right? It's info. So get the information. Don't worry about cards and papers and all that stuff. You get the info. Let that be your card and papers for a year. Is Canaanland a 501c3? Canaanland's not a 501c3 because Canaanland's a landmass. Canaanland is what they would call Canada. And if you doubt, just go talk to the slaves who went to the Underground Railroad and why they were singing hymns about going to Canaan if they never been to Canaan. Because if they'd been to Canaan, because they came from Africa or whatever like that, then why are they going back over there? Why are they talking about Canaan is north? Why are they saying that for? Because up here is not Canaan? Are you saying it's not Canaan? Because if the slaves knew that up here was Canaan, then that also let us know that the slaves knew Aboriginal and Indigenous culture. Because they knew to follow the North Star and all that stuff, which is Aboriginal, Indigenous, Moorish culture. And people been lying and playing games. Coming in our chat. You already know Canaanland's not a 501c3. You already know it's not. But this is what you deal with when you're really on this info. And you don't take the BS from people. Right? Did you get your charter from Chicago? Nope, didn't get my charter from Chicago because Chicago is a corporation. City of Chicago is a corpse. Moors, who we know in Mecca, because we ride for Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali, Chicago's Mecca. So in Mecca, in 2008, 8126 South Cottage Grove, I don't know what's there now, but that's where we used to go to. That was the temple. And that's where we got our charter from. Moors who were in Grand Major Temple, who saw all the corruption that was going on in there, Grand Major Temple that's around right now, and they left that, seeing the corruption, and were saying that they were Grand Major Temple because they were adepts. And the corruption that they found out, there's no being down with it or unity or whatever. Like, there's none of that. Sever ties, and we don't care what they're doing. Whoever's saying that they're down with them and all that, then let them do what they're doing. We're going to be over here doing the exact same thing that we were doing. Right? So yeah, we're chartered. We have the 2 seals, Moorish Holy Temple of Science Charter, Moorish Science Temple of America Charter. And it's not a thing of questions. Everybody knows since 2008. Everybody knows. And everybody knows, based on who our teachers are, that we're definitely not 501c3 because we don't even deal with any of that. We deal with birthrights and nationality. Yeah, we got registration, so we could have a number, so we can get a building, because they ain't taking anything else other than a number with a building. All right, here's the number. But we don't deal with tax people and all that, because we're not in that jurisdiction. Just because we're not in that jurisdiction. Because we're not chartered from these people here. We're chartered from Moorish Science Temple of America. And what we do as a temple is bring the people back into the constitutional fold. Teach them the truth about their nationality and birthrights. Here's the information. Now go out and be yourself. Because we're not here to rule people. This is their birthright. Right? There's rules Joe Ali talked about rules and divine laws and all that. So yes, of course, there's rules, right? Moorish Science Temple of America is a religious corporation. That's what it is. But that religious corporation that's Moorish is flying a national flag in it. It doesn't, not flying a religious flag. It's flying a national flag. Why is it flying a national flag? Obviously, there's a nation behind it. And like we said, your mom is the temple that made you a Moor. The temple that you walk into is supposed to be administering your affairs like a regency or an embassy or some type of body politic to administrate for your affairs. Because you shouldn't have to be doing anything. You should be out enjoying your birthright. That's why Joe Ali could say Chicago is Mecca, because they owned there, and every state was next. Chicago was done, and that was it. It was game over. Chicago would have been the new Washington, D.C. or whatever, like that, right? And it would have evolved from there. But we didn't want that. So this is what we got now. COVID and swine flu and all this madness. Lockdowns and can't get food and everybody buying toilet paper instead of food and weird stuff going on. Canaanland, Moors, are the Moors in the jurisdiction of North America above so-called United States. The Moorish Science Temple of America, subordinate temple number 5, doesn't make people Moors. They declare their nationality. They become part of the temple. And now the temple assists them in going through the process, like the temple's supposed to do, because there is a process. Yes, you're going to get identification card. Yes, you're going to get certain things. No different than when you go to government of whoever and they give you a SIN number or they give you a driver's license or whatever, the same thing. You're not debating them, but what are they doing? They're a corporation, maybe not religious or whatever. Maybe 501c3 or whatever like that. And they're saying, you can join our whatever called a country. And then you take an oath, and then we give you a card. And that's a fiction. But you're cool with that. But Moors say now, all right, well, let's administer the affairs for our people. So they don't have to go to them. They can just deal with their own people. And this is with real life things. This is not deal with their own people like, oh yeah, just go shop at that guy's store, so that means that we're... No, it means that all these people that have all the same identification, that all dress the same, that all are thinking the same, that all have the same flag, that all have the same prayer, all have the same holy book, all have the same prophet, then you're a nation. The temple didn't do that. That's pre-existing. So we're not giving nationality. We're teaching the things necessary to make our members better citizens. Because as whatever they weren't doing anything for themselves or society. So declare your nationality through us. We say Moorish Science Temple because that's the institution that we present this information as. But when you get in the doors, this is not some, oh yeah, sit on the chair and listen to some classes and then after that you just go home. No, this is about you're preparing yourself to take a new position in the world, because you're not going to be presenting yourself as a Negro to people anymore. You're going to be presenting yourself with free national standards. You're not going to be presenting yourself as an emotional being. You're going to present yourself as a lion man, which includes women. Right? So nobody can make you a Moor. No building can't make you a Moor. Right? Now, somebody asked about just solely and just sanguinis. Now, the best way to know something is to look it up in a dictionary. That's the best way. You don't assume or guess or play games with people because you want to sound smart to be able to sell them a package. You give it to them in a perspective that baby could get this. This is not some rocket science. We're getting the countdown, but we'll be back with just soli, just sanguinis, and what y'all got on the public record or whatever BS. Just remember your questions. We'll be right back.